Good day to everyone, and at this moment, we are going to discuss the three tools or eyes of criminal investigation. So, this chapter will present the three tools of criminal investigation that necessary in accomplishing the objectives of investigation, and it includes the study of gathering information, conduct interview and interrogation, and the forensic science, or the so-called instrumentation. It includes also some of the demonstrative strategies in gathering information. So when we say three tools or eyes of criminal investigation, we are referring here on the letter I, 3I, not eyes that referring to looking to something. But we are referring here on the three eyes of criminal investigation. So before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe and share. Click also the notification bell for you to be updated with regards to criminology discussion. So, pag sinabi nating tools, ito yung ginagamit ng investigador para for him to arrive at a conclusive result of investigation. So, alam naman natin na kapag sinabi nating investigation, marami talaga ang kailangan gawin ng isang investigador para niya ma-resolve ang isang kaso, at isa nga sa mga ginagamit ng investigador or one thing for the investigator to apply is the three eyes of criminal investigation. So let's proceed to the first eye of investigation, and that is the so-called information. So ano ba ang information? So on that picture, may nagtatanong, so nasa loob sila ng opisina, at yung isa naman ay nagbibigay ng document, ipapakita sa nagtatanong. So yan ba ay information? Yan ba ay pagkuha ng information? Pag sinabi nating information, this is the knowledge or facts which the investigator had gathered or acquired. So we are dealing here, ito yung totoo. Paano natin masasabi na yan ay totoo? Kung yung investigador mismo ang pumunta kay Pedro, o kaya ay kay Juan de la Cruz. So just like for example, meron silang ipapa-verify na tao. Ito ba, sir, pwede bang malaman kung itong tao na ito ay taga dito? Siyempre, ang gagawin naman ng investigator, i-verify niya kung totoo na si Juan de la Cruz ay taga Barangay 103. So pupunta ngayon siya kay Barangay Kapitan para i-verify niya, o kaya ay magtanong-tanong siya sa mga tao kung talagang taga dito yan, tao na yan. Di ba? So, o kaya naman ay document. Pag sinabi nating document, pupunta ka naman sa office kung totoo naman na siya ay nagtatrabaho doon. Kaya nga yung mga nagpapautang, nire-require nila na ikaw ba ay empleyado, may trabaho ka ba? Ngayon, kung sinabi mo na may trabaho ka, provide ka ng document, just like certificate of employment. Tapos ilalagay mo diyan kung ilan yung monthly salary mo, di ba? Tapos ang gagawin naman ng pag-uutangan mo, halimbawa, meron kang bibilhin, hulugan, motor, sasakyan, o kaya ay lupa. Ngayon, ipapa-verify ka nila kung totoong nagtatrabaho ka doon. So, yung makukuha nila doon, ang tawag doon ay information na makakatulong sa investigasyon. Ayan, yan ay ginagawa ng mga investigador natin para makakuha sila ng reliable information. And yan nga, which are pertinent or relevant concerning the commission of the crime or criminal activities. So, particularly, ito ay in order to gather information with regards to the crime that has been committed. And alam nyo, according to psychologists, 85% sa tao na makakakuha siya ng information through sight. Yan, through sight. So kaya kapag yung tao mismo, yung investigador, kung masipag-sipag yung investigador, siya talaga yung pumupunta, actual. Kaya nga yan yung definition ng information, It is in knowledge or facts which the investigator had gathered. Siya mismo ang kumuha. Siya mismo ang nagtanong. Siya mismo ang pumunta sa isang opisina para magtanong. Okay? So, reliable yan, 85% true sight. And also, 13% naman yan ay sense of hearing. Di ba? Sa mga napapakinggan natin, meron tayong nakukuhang information. Nakatayo lang tayo dyan sa gilid, may katabi naman tayo, nag-uusap, at sinabi nila, ang pumatay kay Pedro ay si ganito. Ang nang-rape kay Juana ay si ganito. O, di nakakuha ka na ng information. Kaya nga lang, bibihira lang yan. Kung baga, swerte mo na kung talagang makakakuha ka o makakadinig ka ng ganung istorya. And also, 2% naman na sa ibang 3 senses natin. So, ang pinakamalaki talaga dyan ay yung nakikita mo talaga. So, pumunta ka talaga. Kaya nga, pagdating sa psychological process of accurate observation, meron tayong 3. Yung attention, yung perception, yung report. Pag sinabi nating attention, you are aware. So, aware ka sa ginagawa mo, aware ka sa nakita mo. And kapag nakita mo yan, of course, naiintindihan mo, and that is perception. You understand, that is the understanding fact of awareness. Because you see, you perceive. And what you perceive, you need to report that one. Yan na yung number 3. So it involves in identifying what has been perceived. You know how to narrate what is you've been perceived. Ano yung nakita mo? Kaya nga, dapat aware ka. Sa ginagawa mo, aware ka. So, minsan, ang ginagawa ng mga investigador natin at sa guidelines, procedure sa investigation, dapat may tick clear ang investigator o kaya ay maliit na notebook. Sa lahat ng kanyang ginagawa, nire-record niya yan kapag nasa field of investigation siya. So, lahat ng kausap niya, nire-record niya yan. Pangalan, date, oras, kung pwede niyang mailagay para maalala niya kapag nire-review niya yan. So, yan yung importansya yan. And next one is the information classified as to its sources. So, minsan, nakakakuha tayo ng information. Number 1 is regular source o kaya ay sources. Kasi, pwede tayong makakuha ng source sa radio, sa TV, telephone messages ang nakalagay dyan o kaya ay stored computer area, o kaya ay cellphone sa ngayon, social media also. Yan na ang malaking source of information natin. Kaya nga, before you believe, sa social media, mayroon tayong kwan dyan, dapat verified mo muna kung ano yung source. Kaya nga, may mga information kasi na nakikita natin na talaga namang fake news naman talaga. Talagang makikita mo naman na gawa-gawa lang, di ba? Pinagloloko lang yung mga post doon. Pero, meron din naman kung may mga fake news, meron naman talagang true, meron namang legit. So, yan ang kwan ngayon, uso ngayon. At the moment, minsan, bibihira na yung nanonood sa TV, nakikinig sa radio, sa social media na ang karamihan, naka-concentrate na doon. Kaya nga minsan, nakakulong na lang yung iba sa kwarto, o doon nakikinig, nag-Facebook, kasi dyan naman talaga yung easy access natin ano sa mga information. Nakakita tayo, nakakabasa tayo, nakakapanood na tayo dyan. Okay? We have also cultivated source. Ano naman ito? Bakit tinawag na cultivated sources? Because this will furnish by informants or informer. So you need to establish your informant. You need to establish your informer. So anong pinagkaiba nito? Kung yung tao na nagbibigay ng information ay free, na nagbibigay siya ng information without any consideration, that is informant. But if the person give information because of some consideration, no? Kagaya ng sir, meron akong tip sa'yo. Meron akong ibubulong sa'yo. Pero baka pwede namang pahingi muna ng 500, pahingi muna ng 1,000, di ba? So yun naman yung mga informer. Okay? And pag sinabi nating grapevine sources, these are coming from ex-convict. No? This information came from prisoners or ex-convict. So sila yung nagdi-divulge ng information. Kasi alam nyo, di ba, sa mga balita, nakakulong na nga lang sila, meron pang transaction ng drugs doon sa loob ng kulungan. Bakit? Meron silang access sa labas eh. Di ba? Questionable talaga yan. Bakit nakakulong na nga lang? Bakit meron pa silang communication sa labas? Bakit yung operation nila mamaterialize pa rin kahit nakakulong na sila? No? Diyan natin makikita yung weakness ng correction natin. No? So, wala tayong magagawa. Yan talaga. Legit yan. Reported yan. Kaya nga, papalit-palit ang Bureau of Director dyan, hoping na yung present, na si Director Bangtad, if I'm not mistaken, malinis niya yung correctional institution. Meron na nga namamatay dyan, palagi ang Greyhound operation nila, yung pag-i-inspect sa mga selda ng mga prisoner. Yan, talagang maraming mga dyan, legit information, pwede silang makapagturo kung sino yung big fish, mga drug lords, no? Yan. We have also the general types of suspect identification, no? We have the positive identification and the tracing identification. So anong pinagkaiba nito? Pag sinabi nating positive identification, this use information that identifies an individual beyond question. And this is legally acceptable as pertaining to and originating from a particular individual. Just like yan, no? Just like fingerprinting. You discovered the Latin prints in the crime scene, that is already a positive identification that will resolve the case. Kasi ang fingerprint natin, meron tayong tinatawag na principle of infallibility, no? O kaya ay principle of permanency, no? O kaya ay principle of individuality. Yan. So hindi pwedeng yung fingerprint mo, wala nang kanyan, walang kapareha. Ikaw lang 'yan, no? Mag-isa ka lang 'yan, no? So kaya kung inanalyze nila yung Latin prints na discover nila sa crime scene, tapos ikaw naman yung suspect, inanalyze nila at nag-match, talagang you cannot deny, no? So yan naman yung proseso ng DNA fingerprinting. By the way, ang DNA fingerprinting is known as DNA profiling. So yan, yung mga nasa area ng fingerprinting, criminalistics, yan yung kanilang pinapag-aralan dyan, na proseso yung mga Latin prints, fingerprint ng suspect, okay, if it will match or not. And also tracing identification, this involves the use of all other information that may be indicative of the personal identity of an individual. So just like ang tracing identification natin, ang example natin dyan ay description of a witness as depict, by the picture, yung nandyan na picture. Okay, so makikita nyo, naka-line yan, ang tawag dyan ay yung police lineup. Usually, ang police lineup composed of a minimum o kaya ay composed of 8 person, same height, same build, body build, At yung witness naman, ituturo niya kung sino diyan, yung nakita niya na gumawa ng krimen. So yan, ang tawag diyan ay witness identification. Okay? And also information about the presence of suspect personal belongings in the crime scene. Halimbawa, nahulog yung sombrero, panyo, tsinelas, sapatos na iwan, and then ma-identify ng isang witness, ito, pagmamay-ari yan ni Mr. Pedro, pagmamay-ari yan ni Juan. So, doon nila, that is again another getting information. They will again interview, they will again conduct, they will investigate that person kung totoo na sa kanya yan. Now, we have also other sources of information. We have the government records. Kung meron tayong gustong tingnan, punta lang tayo sa anumang office ng government, and also private records. If this is kung yung information or yung tao ay nagtatrabaho naman sa private sector. Okay? Just like meron siyang negosyo, meron siyang business. I-verify natin yung pagkakakilanlan ng suspect natin. And we have also the intercepted messages. This is through telephone. Kasi meron talaga yan noon, yung wiretapping. Bawal yan. Bawal kang mag-tap. Pero if that is kumuha ka ng permisyo sa court at pinagbigyan ka ni judge na gawin mo yan para sa investigation, then that is allowed. Magagaling yung mga nasa IT, pati cellphone, baka pwede na lang ikwan yan, ma-intercept yung message. Okay? And also we have the records of firearm and explosive unit concerning license holder of firearms and authorized possessor of explosive. It's like, for example, ang iniimbestigahan ay shooting incident at ikaw yung suspect. Ngayon, hinuli ka o kaya ay sinearch yung bahay mo at nakita nila yung baril. May nakita silang baril doon. Now, ang gagawin nila dyan ay iimbestigahan yung baril kung yun ay ginamit sa krimen. To include kung yan ay may lisensya. Ngayon, paano nila malalaman na yan ay lisensyado? Of course, pupunta sila sa record of firearms and explosive unit kung totoo yung document na pinakita mo. And also yung fire busting. So this is the tracing the chain of possession of firearm from the manufacturer. Yan. So kanino ba ito? Saan ba ito nanggaling? Saan mo ba yan binili? And of course, the stored data on computers and cell phone. So take note that only expert ang pwedeng mag-retrieve ng stored data dyan. At meron tayong rules on computer evidence dito. O kung halimbawa, yung mga sa computer, nangyari yung krimen, is like cyber crime, pornography, ginagamit yan, yung live na ang hindi nga maganda, yung anak, ginagamit nila yung kanilang anak, pinapasayaw doon na nakahubad sa harap ng computer. For example, ni-raid yan ng kapulisan natin, ng mga operatiba. Ito ang gagawin nila with regards to computer. When the computer is off at the time of arrival, do not turn it on. Yan. Ganon din naman, ano, kapag yan ay when it is on, no, do not turn it off. Okay? Nor touch its mouse or keyboard. So ano ang gagawin? Yan na yung next step. Ang gagawin ay unplugging of the computer. Whether it is on or off should be done by pulling out the cable directly from the back of the central or the CPU, Central Processing Unit. So meron talaga yan, ano, sa likod niyan, tanggalin mo lang na ganyan, ano. So huwag mo na daw i-on, i-off. Ayaw. Kung yan ay naka-on, huwag mo nang i-off. Kung yan ay naka-off, huwag mo nang i-on. So hayaan mo na lang, tapos yan, plug mo na lang. And then each unplugged cable should be marked in the same marking corresponding to the socket from where the cable was unplugged. So take note, dito, importante talaga yung markings, no? So from the chapter 2, chapter 3, yung discussion natin until this chapter 4, mapapansin natin na lahat ng pieces of evidence need to be marked, no? Yan ang idea dyan, no? The computer should be carefully handled and packed for transport to the police station. Ayan na, ipack nyo na, kunin nyo na. And only, take note for this, only computer forensics expert should search for any information or evidence obtained in the hardware. Yan, no? Marami talaga, ano, pagdating sa computer crime, marami talaga. Meron nga yung napanood ko noon, ano, about cybercrime. Ang kaso, kahit pala na-delete mo na, pwede na lang ma-retrieve yung information. So, walang lusot. Kaya nga sabi nila, if there is a perfect crime or if there is a perfect criminal, there is also a perfect investigator. Yan, di ba? And the expert, sabi dyan, should duplicate the computer and the evidence. Custodian for future court presentation should keep the original. Search and analysis must be undertaken using the image disk. So yan na, trabaho na yan ng computer forensic expert, ano? The computer forensic expert. So ipaubayan nyo na sa kanila. So ang gagawin nyo lang ay gathering of pieces of evidence. Then sila na yung bahalang mag-handle ng mga pieces of evidence. Ayan. So that is all about information.